This is Jeff. Um, okay, Jeff, do you use a digital calendar?
I do use a digital calendar.
And what are your primary uses for it?
I use it to plan my schedule, to help me select times for meetings during the day, and to keep organized.
Okay, so when trying to schedule any type of meeting with an organization that you're involved in or work for, um, is that a hard process for you currently?
It can be difficult. I have no way to see other people's calendars, and there's often a lot of throwing out a time that we can meet, and then one person says they can't, needing to throw out another time, and a different person says they can't do it then. So then you end up getting a lot of back and forth just to try to, and spending a lot of time before you even set the meeting time.
Okay. And are there different groups within the Helping Hand project? So, would something that allowed you to reach out to different groups be like a useful tool for you?
That would be useful. We have our two main groups are the event side and then the design side. And even within those groups, there's certain teams that work on one task and teams that work on another.
Okay. So you plan meetings with all of those teams.
Yes, sometimes with the group as a whole, but also sometimes with the individual 4 to 5 person teams.
And that can be difficult.
Yes.
Okay. So, what if there were something that allowed everyone to upload their digital calendar and then allowed those calendars to be cross referenced depending on what times people are busy and what times they're free? So, instead of having to do all of the work of like texting or corresponding with someone throughout a period of a day, you can just go ahead and invite them to a meeting and then have a mechanism that does all of the cross referencing and hard work for you. And then something that would allow you to see like 3 times that worked for all of you that week. Would that be something that you would encourage people within your organization to use so that you guys could better schedule a meeting?
Definitely. Yeah, that would be a very useful system for us.
Okay. And what in particular about Meet Me could serve as something that differentiates us from like a Google Calendar? I said us.
The fact that the app automates the system doesn't require me to go in and look through people's calendars to find a time that works for everyone is very useful. It's also great that if people if people have different ways that they already different means that they already use to have their digital calendars, um, it's great that Meet Me could import those calendars rather than requiring that person to go in on a second calendar and input all of their meetings, all of their dates, and all their free times.
Okay. So what about in instances like I know that this year a benefit concert was planned, and a lot of people within the organization were trying to spread the word to increase funding for 3D printed hands. Would you use something like Meet Me to advertise to other users in the area that you were planning an event?
It could be useful. That way, you can advertise to people who you know are open during the event. Depending on the features of the app, you can define a certain demographic that you advertise to, and that could really allow us to get the most out of the money that we spend on advertising.
Okay. So overall, is there anything that you would change about the any of the screenshots from the MVP?
The only thing that I saw that could be changed would be a feature that allows you to select the location, and that would be particularly useful for us and other businesses who may have a limited number of common rooms that are used by a lot of different groups of people.
Could you explain more about that?
So, an example of that is, well, for the Helping Hand Project, is the BME Club. There's other groups outside of the Helping Hand Project that are. An example of that for the Helping Hand Project is the BME Lab. there's other groups of students outside of the Helping Hand Project that use this. And even if those groups didn't necessarily use the same app as us, if we could at least get the room's calendar to see when people have booked it and when they haven't, then it would allow us to make sure that we don't plan on all being together in the BME lab at a time when another group has also planned it.
Okay, so you're saying that it would be beneficial to also use the calendar for the bookings of rooms so
Yes.
that you can also cross-reference the room's calendar with all of the other people in your organization.
Yes.
Great. Okay, that's a great improvement. Thank you for your time, Jeff.